It's all good.
Okay, Jacob, you're online now.
Perfect. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our third Q&A session with yours truly and Ronnie, the Master Chief of our streaming. Um,
The master of disaster.
we, I think our second try was fairly good.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go today. So you have a few tricks up your sleeve that I'll let you explain a bit later. But first of all, I'd like just to share my screen and actually show something pretty cool that um, Catan has been up to. So hopefully now you should be able to see a map of the world
Yeah, it's here.
and a lot of blue dots. So that is actually the speakers that we have for the session. So as you can see here, we are very well spread out across the world. So we have people from, well, obviously Australia, we have Brazil, US, we have from Turkey, Germany, UK, Denmark, Poland, India, Singapore, etc. So it's really cool. So this is actually on our website. So bit.ly/SAP online track. So have a look there if you're interested. We just thought it was pretty cool to see, show the diversity that we actually have in the session. So thank you again to all the speakers and all the volunteers, and obviously all the attendees. So we're really looking forward to it. So yeah, not far off now.
I was getting a bit too close now, I think.
So Ronnie, you started or tested something new today. What was that exactly?
What do you?
You talked about the auto start.
Yeah. I'll just need to now find my screens again because everything closed.
So this is the time where I tell another joke, is it?
No, this is the time where I panic because I don't know what happened there. Hopefully,
Are we still online?
People probably noticed that the shit hit the fan. So that's a small trick. Don't have any keyboard shortcuts for clearing your screen. I guess someone can give us feedback if everything we lost. Okay, Shukan says that audio was on all the time.
So I expect whether we were going or jumping offline, but we weren't, so that's good.
During which part was the audio on? During the Q&A?
During your disaster just a minute ago.
Oh.
Yeah, the video disappeared, but not the audio.
Yeah, great. Is everything back?
I think so.
I of course lost all my thoughts now. So where were I? Yeah, we're trying.
Also start on
yeah,
YouTube.
we are testing. YouTube streams have this feature that it can auto start or start automatically when you start the stream in OBS. So we're testing that today. Start and stop, and we're also trying out the low latency mode. So hopefully we don't have this long delay between us saying something and we getting feedback in the chat. So it can
maybe we should test that out. So if anyone hears us saying, can you just please put something in the chat? Maybe write cucumber. And then we'll see how fast we can see it in the chat. There is a few seconds delay.
Yeah.
But
hopefully not like a half minute. So it will make it easier. There's the cucumber. So, this is great.
Awesome. Yeah, so roughly what are we saying here? Maybe 7 seconds?
Yeah.
10 maybe, at the absolute most.
Yeah. So we are trying this now, the low latency mode. I'm also connected through Ethernet today to see if the quality is better. So I guess we would need someone who viewed us last time that also views today that can say if the quality, video quality is better or worse or the same or whatever.
Awesome.
So, okay. We talked about that today's stream would be primarily about streaming and OBS and of course any question that would show up. So I have this little agenda, not much, but Shrikant says.
Shrikant is just, it's a visible difference, so it's a lot better.
So that tells us that all volunteers who will be stream producers should try to have an Ethernet connection, I guess. If possible, yes. Because like the upload speeds and download speeds are the same on my Wi-Fi and Ethernet I tested earlier, but there's so many things that can affect like latency and stuff like that. So the pure upload download speed isn't all that matters. So I guess it's a more steady stream using Ethernet. So if it's possible, pull out the Ethernet cable. Right. And just lost my thought again. We were talking before we started about OBS and Streamlabs, and a good friend of us. If you can tell a joke, because I forgot to prepare thing I was going to show you.
It just put me on. So there's a joke from the chat, because I asked everyone to write in Cucumber, but Lars HP wrote in Gherkin instead. That's not funny, I guess. No. I'm buying your time here. I'm desperate.
But it worked because I'm ready.
Okay, excellent.
We were talking a bit about OBS, Streamlabs, and using streaming software, if it's hard or not.
What is Streamlabs?
Yeah,
so we've talked about OBS and covered that in the series.
Yeah. The thing is that Streamlabs is based on OBS. OBS is an open source software, so a company called Streamlabs has taken OBS and sort of made, it's not a real wrapper around it, because it's, as I understand, really similar. I haven't used it myself, but a lot of our friends in the community that stream use it. And I will now try to switch scene here. To the browser scene. Our friend Nabit has written this excellent blog post on LinkedIn about his streaming setup. So we're going to link to that, and that is actually an excellent starting point for anyone that is interested in the subject of streaming. And like we said last time, we would really encourage people who are interested in the subject to actually use the event as a way to sort of get into it, because then you can focus on the technical part and don't have to worry about the product, or like the content. So we can use the last couple of weeks until the event to get you up to speed on setting up the software. And then you can be a stream producer during the event. And that could be a great way to get started with streaming, I assume.
And it's not necessarily only for streaming. It's actually a good way to like create video content as well. So OBS can do video recording. I used OBS in my last weekly update.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually also a way for you to create training videos, online sharing, etc., etc. So it doesn't necessarily only have to be streaming.
Oh, no.
So at the end of the day, I think it's just a valuable skill to have.
It's a really valuable skill. I can come with a small anecdote from last week. At my work, we have been thinking about having webinars or offering webinars about subjects, because it's a really great way to offer information. And me and Christian, that is on the organizing team for SAP Insight Track Oslo, we are working together. So we put our heads together, and our knowledge about streaming help now my company to create webinars. So knowing this and having these skills can actually benefit you in your workplace, even though it's not directly related to SAP. So it's a really good skill to have.
And I think a lot of people, and maybe that's our fault, has been put off a bit on streaming themselves, because maybe we made it too complex, and or sharing your experiences with obviously the setup that we're trying to do here, which is obviously way more complex than what you need to do.
It's very
but yeah, so everyone who might be thinking about it, have a look at Nabit's blog, because well, as he said in there, I thought it would be really, really hard, but it's not. It's actually super easy. So again, and just to encourage, during the event, if you are able to do a DIY, so do it yourself stream, it will help us a lot because we don't have to gather as many volunteers in to support you during the event. So moderators, video stream producers, etc. So just have a think about it whether you are okay with doing a stream yourself. If so, reach out to us if you're already submitted on the form we have online. If not, please submit on that form as well. And then we can provide you the last bits and pieces that you need to get to that. And we're also happy to help you and do another session or something privately with you if you want some help just to get started.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe,
yeah.
Would it make sense to? So we talked a bit about you maybe trying to show how to use OBS and how to sort of create a little simple setup.
Yeah, that's I'm on it.
Okay.
I think the easiest way is actually because this is something we talked about right before we started, so I haven't prepared anything. But what I can do is be myself and just share my whole screen, and then we can go from there. And people can ask if they have questions, or you can ask. You will probably not see my screen, Jacob, unless you open
I'm still looking at
you. But we can go to the desktop scene here, and so now people will see everything. And I'll just make OBS a bit larger. I have a quite wide screen, so I will just cut it off a bit.
So maybe just to explain, so for a stream on OBS, you basically just need OBS, a webcam if you want to stream your video, your browser, and a PowerPoint for your presentation. That's it. So I assume, looking at your stream last time, you had 7 other things on there.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's just OBS and your PowerPoint, and obviously anything that you want to do in regards to live demos or something like
that. I will now. I need to figure out how we do this. Just. We go to studio mode. What I'm using now, what you can see, is what's called studio mode in OBS. So you don't have to use this when streaming, but it's a good way because it lets you work in different scenes while you are streaming another. So the reason why I'm using this now is to be able to do what I'm now going to do while you see what's in the picture here. And everybody, you just have to let me know if I just ramble on and it's completely it's impossible to understand what I'm saying. So I'll try to pull back. Is this linguistic problem. Okay, so what we can see here is my OBS screen. I have set it up a bit, so I have this statistics on top, just to know how the stream is going. So it's not necessary to have, but it's okay. We can also see down here in the corner that I'm monitoring the live stream on YouTube. Down here in what's called the scenes are the things that we can stream out. So a scene is just a collection of resources that you put out on the air. So when we start a stream, we have this intro scene, which only contains a bilde, which is an image. So it's the Q&A image and no sound sources. And that makes it possible for us to talk during the live stream without spamming all you guys. And then I have what's called a browser scene, which is what I use when I show the browsers, like when I show the Nabit's blog post, and where I have a cutout of our Discord window and a browser, and so forth and so on. I have different scenes. This last scene, sound scene, this advanced thing that I use to control the sound. So the input and output is put in our own scene, and then we import this scene in other scenes. It's a way of reusing resources instead of importing them to each different scene. But if you're just getting started, or if you want to do the DIY, the only thing you would probably need is creating an intro scene where you can put the image you will be provided by us, like it's the with the online track logo and the name of the presentation, and then a scene where you capture your PowerPoint. Or actually, you can do it easier by just having the PowerPoint, so you can manage with only one scene. I think that is probably the most basic, don't you think, Jacob?
I muted myself so you wouldn't hear my clickety clack on my mechanical keyboard. But yes, absolutely. Just create one PowerPoint. If you could do us the favor of just adding in the intro and outro to the online track stuff, and then you're done and dusted.
Because intro and outro is basically just an image, so it would be the first slide of your PowerPoint.
So you can be really fancy with OBS and try to cut out the background, etc., with green sheets and stuff like that. You don't need to.
No, I don't.
Like similar to what we're doing here, it's just simple and like try to tidy up a bit. I probably have a bit of a mess here, but if you can just tidy it up a bit, and then you're fine. It's no worries at all.
It's okay.
You just look cool with your Android figurines and your guitar there.
Yeah, and my little friends. Yeah. Okay. Now I think we're rambling. Okay, so let's pretend now that my OBS is empty, so we have no scenes here. And this is the work area. So this image here, I can actually make it a bit bigger. So the beautiful guys disappear behind here, but it's okay. So pretend that we have don't have this all these scenes, and I will now create the presentation scene, so to say. So I just go down here and add a scene, and I'm sorry about the clickety clack, but you have to bear with it. Presentation. Now we have created a presentation scene, and now the next thing is put the resources in. So what we are gonna capture. I don't have PowerPoint on my computer, but it doesn't matter because it's the same. We use the same resource type. It's just what we are capturing that will be different. So what we're gonna use is actually there are two ways we can do this. Either you create what to call it, display capture, that will capture your whole display. So you can then, if you have, for instance, if you have two monitors and you want to run your presentation in presentation mode on the second monitor, you can actually just capture that monitor, and that is really easy. Because then you just select the display you want to capture and press OK. The other way is the way I'm going to use now, and that is using what we call window capture. And it just magically actually found the right window. What you do is you find the window of your presentation. The tricky part here can be when you present in full screen mode, it actually has to be there when you select it here. So then you have to perhaps have another second monitor. But here we are just selecting this presentation window. And there we have it. So now it's ready here. And if I want to have my webcam on top of it, I add a video capture device. And I have a couple to choose from, but I can use my Logitech web camera. That was a bit off. So select that one. And I now have this on top of the other, and that is by the layer sorting in the sources. And then I can scale it up and down, or if I press the Alt key while doing this, I can crop it off, and I can put it wherever I want. And then we have the presentation and what's called the face camera. And the last thing we would need is to make sure that we have audio input down here, and that can either be fixed in the settings, but the thing there is that will make it globally through all your scenes. So I recommend doing it the way I do, to either add audio input and audio output in this scene, or create a separate scene with the audio input and output, and then you can add the scene by just adding the sound scene. So now I have prepared the demonstration scene, or the presentation screen. It's a browser window with audio. So if I now transition this, it will be put out on the stream, hopefully. What do you think?
Very advanced presentation.
Yeah, it works, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for anyone that's watching, did that make any sense?
So that was a very quick rundown of how to use OBS.
Yeah.
in the simplest manner.
And it might be that it looked a bit hard because of this studio mode, but I think if you just open OBS and just look around and getting to know the application, you soon realize that it's not as hard as it might look.
I think first. I found a blog on how to use OBS because I wanted to just see what it was, and after 5 minutes I was running.
And
so yeah,
for this presentation mode, you would need to use the studio mode, because you are not planning to change between the different scenes. So I think we can just go back to our wonderful faces.
So Paul Hardy says, very impressive, but I think I'll stick with the easy mode, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, it's totally...
we just wanted to give you at least a bit of insight into how to potentially use it. So obviously that's totally fine, Paul.
Yeah. And just to transition what we just showed to those that want to try out as stream producers, for them it would be the only thing they would need to do is setting up. I can just actually go back now and put this in front again. You basically only need this scene that I call Discord scene, which captures the output from the voice channel on Discord, and be able to stream that onto to YouTube. So
we will share these screens with you.
So and I will also be able to have separate sessions with the volunteers so we can have schedule a session where we go through it actually one-on-one if somebody wants to do that. So this is quite feasible for someone who is interested, and we will do anything we can do to help make it happen.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Very cool. All right. There hasn't been a very lot of questions today.
No.
Miss Ware, she was she was good and open. Is there any questions on anything in regards to the events? So I know people are probably very excited and really soon want to see the schedule. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Srikant is very, very close to get the last bits and pieces in there. It has been a bit of a puzzle to accommodate for everything, but I think we are very close to being there. And it's also a pretty packed 24 hours already, which is amazing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we wanted.
And actually, a good point there. It's a packed 24 hours. We really want some volunteers to help as stream producers, because we need to actually share all these sessions out between us, and it can be a bit tough if we're a little crowd with me and myself and me.
Yeah, you can manage the three streams for 24 hours, right? There's no room for mistake. You're fine. Obviously, it is important for us. We can't do this
by ourselves. No, it's impossible.
We really need the help of the volunteers to especially help with this. So again, if you are sort of on the verge of thinking, maybe I would be able to do the streaming stuff, please reach out to us and let us help and guide you into do this last bit, so you can help out. Because honestly, if we don't have enough volunteers, the event will not be as successful. Because we cannot be everywhere.
No, at every time.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember something. We have to. We need some help from you guys out there, to report on the audio levels between Jacob and I. So if someone could just tell us if we are sort of the same level, or if Jacob is really loud or I am really loud, that would be really helpful. Oh, Nabil
says it's perfect.
It's not even perfect. It's perfect. It's like cat purring. Oh, it's great if we're almost the same. That's perfect.
Yeah, cool. All right. Well, that's good to hear, at least.
Yeah.
One other thing I'd like to share from my side, we spoke about Droidcam and webcams last week.
Yeah.
I decided to test on using an iPhone and Droidcam. So it sounds bizarre that you can run Droidcam on an iPhone, I guess, but it is actually working really, really well. So right now I'm using my webcam or my iPhone as a webcam here.
And I'm using the same Xiaomi phone, Android cam, and we have no freezes today.
So far.
so far, and there it froze. But so it's much more stable today. Today I'm actually running it on power. So I just plugged in the charger. So
and that's what I'm doing as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So it might have been that or something, but it's worked flawless. So I'm really impressed by Droidcam, and it's free. So I guess it's free on iOS too.
Yeah. I would honestly, if I were to recommend someone who are looking at using their phone as a webcam, it produces a significantly better picture compared to the ones you have in the laptop, and also the ones you have in the laptop will sort of shoot you from down and upward, so people will be able to really have a close look into your nostrils. So by having it sort of above your screen, and I've seen people, and I use that as well in the beginning, a little Ziploc bag, I cut a hole in it for the camera, and another hole for the video plug, the power plug, and really do it yourself and just tape that on the back of the monitor, because I know it's sitting up at the right height. But Droidcam, I think, is a lot better than what we've also mentioned last week, Epoch Cam.
Yeah.
It's free, and you don't have as many annoying pop-ups as you do in EpocCam. So
and also,
definitely that's the way to go.
yeah,
It doesn't come on Mac though. It's only for Windows. Yeah, sorry about that. I guess you can run your bootcamp or something and stream via that.
Yeah, that is actually a good point. The thing about OS, did I just look crazy? Windows Windows is actually the better platform to do all this on. Also with OBS, we know all the troubles DJ had with his and Catalina, and I also understand that Max has some issues with running this on Mac OS. I had some issues with audio. If I wanted to capture desktop audio like we do now in Windows, it's just plug and play. But in Mac OS, you have to route this. You have to route the audio and create a virtual input device or something. I have a planned guide on how to do this the free way on Mac OS, but the easiest way there is to buy a piece of software that DJ showed us, or perhaps he showed me. I don't remember. But my recommendation would be run Windows if you can when doing this. It will make life much easier. And yeah.
Cool.
What
else do we have today?
What else do we have? It's Saturday, so I'm planning. We have tomorrow. It's the 17th of May here, so it's the Constitution Day. And my youngest son is 6 years old tomorrow, so I'm going to do some work there. I guess we don't have much more useful to bring to the audience today. But if people have questions, don't hesitate to go on Discord and ask them. And if people want us to go on a session with them on Discord, we will do that. If people would have an idea, like, can we do a small session and create a video to put up on the YouTube channel where we show something, we can try to do that. And now it's getting really close to the event, so our focus now is to just pull in all the strings and wrap things up and get ready. So that is our priority number one. And for me, that means I will be extremely grateful for every volunteer that will like to be a part of the stream producer team.
I think that is the main thing that we have is really to make sure that we can run and present all these videos throughout the event, and make sure they come out to you as promised.
I guess we don't have to pull this out longer than needed. So I guess I speak to you later, Jacob, and I see all of you guys online. And if you want to round things off.
Well, I think you already did. If there's no last question, so we have a few seconds because I go on and on. But then, yeah, see you guys later, and thank you again for joining in.
Okay, bye-bye.
See ya.